I'm here with Jim Jones, who is. I met you, I guess, in just only about 5 months ago in person, but I guess we've had a connection through WebBall for some time. Jim runs the International Sports Group, which is a major and significant initiative internationally to bring coaching clinics to the world. And I think that's a remarkable thing your organization is doing, that you help get going. And I don't know where coaching in Europe or Australia or anywhere else would be without the initiative that you're bringing to it. So kudos for that. So for your article in the Hitting Challenge, what we were trying to do with all the authors is keep each of them to a specific topic. You had the field of mechanics. You brought it down more than that to the proper load. You focused on that more, and then you brought that down even more because I think in the article you talk about the fact that there are three components to it. It's relax, ready, and rip. And you focus mostly on the ready part. So let's start there, but I'd like for this interview to kind of expand on the other aspects of it as well, if I can. So let's start with a couple of the key points that you think are crucial in terms of being ready for the pitch.
One, physically, the hands and have to get in the right place, but they also have to get there at the right time. And so it's a combination of both physical movement and the timing, both in coordination with the timing of the pitch speed and in coordination with the lower body. So you actually, when you talk about timing, there are actually two different things you have to focus on. In all my work over the years, both with youth players, clear up through working with some college and international adult players, I just find that if they don't get the hands in the right place, all the rest of the stuff just doesn't matter. And so I really think that's a key one. Obviously, all these different articles on hitting coaches should fit them all together to get the complete picture. But this is where I find the most problems.
Okay, so specifically on the area of load, then let's just talk about that load. The way you talked about it in the article was very much about a couple of things that have struck me over the years, and one is the arm position at the arm locking position, I guess, if you will, in terms of the beginning, because I know one of the terms you brought into it at the end of the article is barred arms, and I've been sitting in rooms with a group of coaches where that has been a wildly contentious topic of conversation. So let's talk a bit about that barred arm problem.
Sure. What I teach, and I think is very important, is lead arm extension. I think a good cue for the player is to have the lead elbow push the hands back as the lower body strides, and that gets the arm extended. Now, obviously, I don't teach get locked out, but you're very close to it. And the opposite I see coaches teaching is keeping the hands close and in near the back ear, like you're talking on a telephone, say, cell phone. And I find when they do that, it's a very weak position and encourages the shoulders to spin out. And I think we all agree if that front shoulder flies out, you're not going to be in the hitting zone very long with the barrel. So I feel that lead arm extension gets back. And if I think a player goes one extreme or the other, I would rather have him bar out. As I said, there are players in the Hall of Fame that were bar arm hitters. And as long as the hands are inside and slightly above the lead elbow, they're still going to approach from the inside and hit inside. I know that's important. You don't want to go out and around. But
Right.
I would rather be more extended than less extended.
Understood. Okay, let's go back and talk about this relaxed part of it that you.
Okay, that's where you're going to see style, and I think coaches have to be more flexible in teaching that first part. I think the one thing is you've got to be relaxed. Relaxed muscles are going to move quicker and more efficiently. You don't want them just gripping the bat, and I see kids what I call choking the chicken with that top hand. They've got that top hand choking around the neck of a chicken, and it does not allow the energy of the bat to get exploding into the hips, the hitting zone. So one, I want them relaxed in a good athletic position, not extreme. And vision is extremely important there. You have to be able to get the release point that the pitcher's coming from, and that varies from pitcher to pitcher, in the center of your field of vision. Now, you will see a lot of extremes. We see it all the time. I mean, look at Euclid's was hitting when he got his top hand in backwards. We would never teach that, but he gets to the same load position at the correct time. So be a little more flexible, but do look, are they relaxed, athletic, and do they have a good vision at the release point?
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
So that basically what you want is a body that's ready to be in motion and not a body that's stopped from being in motion. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't want a statue. You know,
Okay.
and some kids get so strong that it looks like their intent is to hang on to the bat rather than get it bat speed going.
Right.
Now, when you convert from relaxed to ready, when you start varies from hitter to hitter. If you have a high leg kick like Ichiro, you're going to have to start sooner with the lower body, but the hands still get loaded at the same time. Compare that with Albert Pujols, who just does a heel lift and no stride. Albert Pujols will start his lower body in motion much later than Ichiro because there's much less movement. But they both finish with heel drop and hands in the correct load position at the same time. And we use as a general rule as when the ball's halfway home. But we also know that with guys throwing over 100 miles an hour, you're going to have to be ready a lot sooner, and you get a lot less information on where the ball's going to be. Whereas a slower pitcher, you want maybe be loaded and heel down a little later. And each batter hand speed is different too.
Now, in translating that down for the younger players, because that's a big part of the WebBall audience is younger
Yes.
ages. It's still the same time frame because if the pitch is slower and the mound is shorter in, you're really having the same kind of issue to be ready with the proper load at the proper time.
Yeah, I in fact, just 2 weeks ago, I was watching my grandson play in a tournament and watching his teammates, and it's a travel team, so they're a little more proficient than maybe the local teams.
Right.
But a lot of them still want to see where the ball is, do I want to hit it, and then get ready, and it's too late. You have to start getting ready when you're ignorant of whether or not you're going to hit or not. And you make the judgment to hit or not afterwards. And so with the slower speed, sometimes they start, okay, I'll look and see, yeah, I want to hit that. Now it's too late to get ready, so they don't load. And now everything spins out, and it's a weak bat speed and out of the zone. So, yes, the timing is very much similar. The kids aren't as strong.
Right.
The plate is closer, of course, and they're going to be eliminated as they move up if they don't learn to make a load automatic every pitch.
Okay, let's move on to rip. What goes from ready to rip?
Okay, in my opinion, and studying and coaching all these years, is it's hip, hands, and barrel. And you'll hear people talk about one or the other, and I think if one's missing, then you're missing part of the swing and it won't be effective. The hips have to start it, just like throwing. You want to be glute powered, but the hips driving. You want them to drive into the hitting zone. You don't want them to spin out. And the hands have to take the knob of the barrel to the contact zone. But a lot of coaches stop there. I see them teaching knob to the ball. And I have to ask the kids when they do that, I said, do you hit the ball with the knob? And they say, no, you hit the ball with the barrel. So you've got to get the barrel going. And it's accumulation. And now I know it's in that order, hip, hands, and barrel, but I try to get them doing all at once in their mind. Otherwise, they're too slow.
Yeah, I found for a while I was trying to myself to teach so much about separation that it got to be disconnected entirely. When you look at really good hitters, you have a hard time seeing any kind of separation at all.
The last thing on ready, the hand load, I want to stress to everybody, when the hand load, the front shoulder closes. We don't want them closing with the shoulders because then they get twisted around and it's all spin. But if they correctly load by extending and the hands back and up and slightly in, the front shoulder's closed. So we are in agreement on that. And that puts us in the ideal position to go into the rip phase. And the rip phase really starts from the ground up. You need glute power. It's hip, hands, and barrel. We want to be inside approach to the ball, but we want to make sure that we're getting the barrel in the hitting zone and it stays in the hitting zone a long time. That way, if I'm a little slow or a little fast, I still have a chance at a base hit. Gotcha. If that top hand's tight and cranking around, then you're out of the zone, and any kind of change of speed will get the easy out for the defensive team. But I'm a big believer in, yes, the hips lead, but we stress, let's get all three of those going so we stay connected and not get all stretched out.
Okay, I want to thank you for doing this, Jim, and I want to finish it up with the video portion, hoping this works for us, is to follow up with what's new or next for Jim Jones and the ISG, and what do you got planned?
Well, I spent this past spring in France again. That'd be my last spring working with the French baseball academies. But we'll continue to do clinics. I'm getting one lined up for Paris with a couple of pro coaches, major league coaches, in January. And I think I probably will be involved in one of the Canadian clinics again also, maybe the one in Saskatoon.
We'd love to see you back in Vancouver.
Okay, well, that's a great place to go. Very, very impressed. I can see why British Columbia has had great baseball success over the past many years.
Thanks again, Jim. Appreciate the call, and we'll talk later, okay?
Thanks for all the fine work you do with WebBall. I really am impressed with the work you do.
Thank you very much.